So, returning viewers of my channel would already know that I am absolutely in love with XRP. And that's honestly um, an accomplishment, right? I feel like it's a great thing, especially where I have come from with XRP. Because if you don't know, in the beginning stages of me investing into crypto, a lot of people mentioned XRP to me. They were like, "You need to hold XRP." And in my early stage of research, that was when the lawsuit was kind of at its, it wasn't at its highest tier, but at least people were looking at it and they were going, this is something that you don't want to be a part of. Anything that's part of litigation or they're fighting against, the government's fighting against, you don't want to be a part of. And that was the argument that always came at me, right? When someone mentioned XRP and I would go, this is interesting, they would go, don't even think about it because they're in a lawsuit, they're going to go to zero. And I would hear or at least see and read a lot of the loudest voices that were there, even though there weren't the most people that were saying don't buy XRP. It was probably an equal playing field, if not more, that were telling me to buy it. It was just the loudest person in the room was always don't buy XRP. It's going to zero. You're never going to gain your money back, and you're not going to like your investment that you have there. Stick to the investments that you have. And that's where my mindset was. And I was like, all right, well, then I now see the movement. Let me day trade this position because the fluctuation is crazy. And didn't give it a second thought until I decided to go down this list of positions that were the top 100 positions, and I was like, why haven't I looked into XRP more? Right? There were people that were still mentioning to me like, hey, look into it a little bit more and make your own decision. And I should have done that from the beginning. So I'll say that. But everybody knows that now I talk about XRP a lot, right? And I've also talked about XRP when it was at a lower level before many other YouTubers saw it as kind of the only option to gather views off of. I believed in XRP enough to be able to buy more than a lot of these people that are out here talking about XRP. So, with that being said, I want to go through the reasons why I love and will always hold XRP forever, right? Not all of the XRP that I have, but at least hold some forever. Also go through some of the information that's out there, via Google AI. I believe they use Gemini. So, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you guys check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon at Perry8K. You can follow me over there. Also, don't forget about my link for BTCC. This is a phenomenal platform that I've been able to utilize for like 9-10 months or something like that. You can get a 10% deposit bonus when you use my link, as well as extra bonuses up to $10,055. You can also get 40% lower trading fees. So if you want a platform that you can test out where you have lower fees, you have the ability to trade outright, leverage trade, or even demo trade, feel free to check out BTCC down below. They've been around for such a long time, offering up to a 500x leverage, but I don't really recommend that. I recommend that you should probably start with a 2x leverage, 3x leverage, give yourself a little bit less risk, and then as you get comfortable, you can up that risk a little bit more. But I still don't think that even an experienced investor should always invest with a 500x leverage. It's so risky. So anyways, check out that link down below. It's at the top of the description. And let's go ahead and dive into this video. So XRP currently stands at $2.28. It's up by 5% today at a $134 billion market cap, $3 billion worth of volume, and almost 60 billion coins in circulating supply. They continuously add this, and it's good to see some movement in a positive direction, especially from the low levels of $2 and $2 and sub 15 cents to now $2.28. So seeing it kind of make those moves up, but we're not seeing everything that's absolutely skyrocketing here. So don't expect this to just move up to $3, $4, $5 in the short term. I mean, it could. Anything could happen, but we're still not seeing altcoin season that's materializing in front of us. So we want to make sure that we're waiting ourselves out, waiting for it to make these moves. But even without those moves, you look at all the things that are being done in the background and even in front of our face, and it's just phenomenal, right? So all the reasons that I love XRP, one, I was able to invest a decent amount into XRP and see it grow, see people be wrong right before my eyes, where they're like, it's not going to go above 50 cents again, or it's not going to go above $1 again. It's not going to break $100 billion market cap. It's not even going to get close to a $200 billion market cap. And every single one of those people that came through my comment section were wrong, right? It did get to a $1 price. It did get to a $2, $3, almost $3.50 price, almost a $200 billion market cap. So all those people were wrong. Great to see those people get proved wrong, especially in something that I truly believe in. But there's a reason why they got proved wrong, right? XRP, yes, while it wasn't a lawsuit that entire time, this lawsuit was not about just the XRP and people losing money in XRP. No, they were trying to throw things at them so that XRP doesn't become what it should become, which is taking over as the world currency. This is the closest thing to that. So fighting that would put a stopping point on it, right? Everybody would say, don't buy into it. But it still didn't work. There are people that are buying into it. And then obviously, as you have a change in governments and officials there, you see that now that lawsuit has shown that it wasn't real. The whole entire thing, it just wasn't real, and they were looking to fight that as much as possible rather than understand it. So XRP has the potential had the potential and still has the potential to become the world currency. That's my main selling point as to how big this could be, because it can touch so many hands and it could be involved in so many transactions and literally be everywhere. We're not talking about just the US. We're not talking about just like China or Japan or what. We're talking about everywhere. It can be everywhere at once and in seconds. So just to give you some information here, we got banks, right? The partnership with banks are probably one of the biggest selling points for me, because as you say, it could be everywhere. Banks are also everywhere. And to be involved in banks with Ripple's payment option, having XRP involved, is a big deal to be everywhere all at once. So my forever coins, whether it's 1,000 or 10,000, can be utilized by me during any time, anywhere, and it can happen in seconds. That's a big deal. XRP ETF approval, right? We look at the ETF that's already there. We look at ETFs that are going to be approved and the likelihood of them being approved. We look at how big ETFs are going to be for crypto in general. Honestly, I think the XRP ETF is minimal compared to what an all-encompassing ETF will be. But either way, an ETF is an ETF. It brings traditionalists involved or invested into that are normally invested into the S&P 500 to now invest into cryptocurrency and then potentially invest into each single cryptocurrency or invest into the broader crypto market, which will be a big deal. Also, if we look at all of Google's reasons, right? Google's reasons to own XRP. You look at cross-border payments and how big that can be, how much money can go into that, the speed, the efficiency, the low transaction fees, the on-demand liquidity, everything, near instant settlement, talking about transactions that can happen in matter of seconds. We're not talking about minutes. We're not talking about 3 to 5 business days like we do with standard cash. We're not talking about shipping it overseas or putting it in the mail or anything like that. We're talking about seconds, and you have the money digitally to you, right? That is huge, absolutely huge. And you don't have that with any other project, right? You may have it with some, but not to this extent, not to this scale, because of the popularity of Ripple, the popularity of XRP. Institutional adoption and partnerships. We just talked about that with financial institutions, or just institutions like just regular businesses, right? AMC could own cryptocurrency or accept cryptocurrency, right? Through their third party, maybe it's through a bank or accepting it through their wallet. Who really knows? But the point is that you could see that the central bank digital currency, or CBDCs, are also a big part. Regulatory clarity. XRP is the only, and I'll come in close, right? Even closer. XRP is the only cryptocurrency that has legal clarity right now. Even Bitcoin doesn't have it. You can say that, oh, they didn't even look at Bitcoin and want to argue Bitcoin. But right now, XRP is the only one that has legal clarity to not be a security, right? That's huge. And that's why XRP is going to continue to thrive no matter what comes along, because you're never going to have that argument again to where they're fighting Solana, they're fighting Ethereum, they're fighting all of these other projects and even exchanges and all that. You're not going to see that anymore. So the only one that is going to ever have legal clarity is XRP, because of that lawsuit, because of where we stood and what was taken out of that lawsuit. When we look at the conclusion of it. So big deal to see that. Ecosystem growth and innovation as well. With the RLUSD stablecoin, the tokenized assets focus on utility, right? Long-term potential in something that can take place for years, decades. We're not talking about something that's going to be utilized in the short term and then turn around and have a better option, right? We look at Bitcoin, it's going to take you 15 minutes to go through and have a transaction go from pending to actually going through. Ethereum, it can take you minutes as well. We're not going to get better than seconds. You can say milliseconds, you can say whatever, it's still going to be seconds no matter what, right? It's going to happen instantaneously. By the time I go like this, that money is already over there. So it's not going to get any better in that aspect. The only thing that can get better is by the price of it, which is already insanely cheap to go through. So honestly, it's not really much of a savings no matter where you go, right? So either way, it's going to be a part of this world for decades and centuries to come. Now, how we go about holding it, using it, storing it, putting it for a reserve, whatever, that's totally on, our governments in a way. But it's going to be huge. And these are the reasons why I love it. This is the reasons why I will hold it forever. It's an endless amount of information, an endless amount of use that you could possibly have. If you told me that I would have a billion or 100 billion coins that will be utilized through the world, I wouldn't say that coin value would be $1. Because if you're going to use it, it's going to be highly desirable. You're also going to have people that are holding it as a store of value. Let's say 20% of the overall supply gets held just as a store of value and just as something that's going to be an appreciating asset, as well as businesses that are looking at it that way, as well as the use that can be there. You're talking about a coin that could potentially cost hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars per coin. That's why I love it. The unknown is what makes it insanely interesting, and I can't wait for all of these things to happen. Whether all of them happen or a part of them happen, you being a part of this from a level of 50 cents or $1 or $2, it's going to be literally the ground floor compared to where we get to. No matter what happens, whether we use it worldwide or we use it in one country, it's still going to be, tens of dollars, way more than where we are, hundreds of dollars, way more than where we are. So an investment that can make you a ton while also you're able to use it in the end. That's what makes it very interesting. That's why I'm in love with XRP, and that's why I'll hold it forever. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out some of the links down below. It does help out the channel. And if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Patreon at PerryHGA. You can follow me over there. Don't forget about my link for BTCC if you guys want to trade XRP. I believe they do up to a 500x leverage there for XRP. But again, I recommend doing less than a 10x leverage, especially if you're new to leverage trading, 2-3x leverage at most. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.